Hi, everyone. It's Sandra Lee from Women on Transition and one of our head coaches. I am here today to share about being a great role model. And some of you may even think that you're not a role model or could never be one, or who would listen to me, and what even is a role model. And so we're just going to unpack some of these myths that maybe we've created around what that has been for us in the past, or maybe we've seen bad role models, and we're thinking we don't want to be like that as well, and we don't want to show up like that, or we don't want to lead like that. So it's really important to be clear at the start of what that role model could even look like, what it could even sound like. So let's just keep rolling through this, because I've got some really cool slides to share with you, and I've got some examples and some of the things that I've had to, I guess, encounter along my journey, and I'd love to steer you clear of some of the mistakes I've made too. So as we go through some of the things that have come up, and here we go, got my slides here. So for those that are listening in the car, and this week has been probably a big week for some. We've gone through, and you're probably listening to it now live, or you could be listening to it later on a recording, but certainly it's Boxing Day. So it's been a big week for many, and certainly been unpacking things around literally Christmas presents, but certainly about your emotions and feelings going into Christmas and how it's turned out for you. And some of us were quite fearful about it. Some of us were quite excited about it. And then what Christmas looked like too. So even the example of going into something that you're a bit nervous around and not excited around, or unsure who was going to be there, how the kids were going to take maybe the first time on their own without their father present, or you're maybe on your own over Christmas. These are times that you can step up into who you want to show up as. And this is exactly what being a role model is. It's you stepping up into a personality or profile or a persona of the energy that you want to show up, and you want to set an example, and you want to be proud of. You can look yourself in the eye one day or even today and go, you know what, I'm pretty good with who's showing up and how I'm presenting today too. So you're one call away from becoming a great role model, and it's time to unlock your full potential and inspire others to discover how you can become a role model for women like you. So what does that look like? And some of you might be in your own business, some of you might be working for other people, and some of you might be looking at going into a leadership role. Some of you might be like me, a mum, and I always look at how I can be a role model mum as well. Make mistakes, but how you can pick yourself up and be authentic with it too, because our kids are human, and they need to see that their parents are as well, and that we can make mistakes. We can show up and apologize for them, or show the kids how that they can, see people do things that aren't perfect, and that's very human as well. And so it doesn't set such a high expectation in life to be perfect in every area. So authenticity. So being true to yourself and your values is a foundation of a strong role model. Women are drawn to authenticity. We can see it a mile off, can't we, girls? We can see it when someone's faking it, when someone's not real, when someone's trying too hard, when we get love bombed, maybe when we've met somebody, or maybe when you're going into a workplace and you're getting someone that's trying to find out too much, or trying to get too close too quick. So we can see that authenticity when it's showing up too. We can see people that are genuine, and they're kind, and they've got a beautiful warm smile that crinkles their eyes, and we can embrace that, and people will see that in ourselves. So always stay true to who you are, and don't try and be someone you're not. Years ago, when I learned how to do, I was trying to learn how to do public speaking, and I was so nervous, and I'm an introvert, so I'm somebody that's quite quiet generally, and I love being around friends and family and people, but certainly going into a space that I don't know, I'm usually the one that's a quiet one. But getting on stage, it was another level of fear and for me, trepidation. So how I could show up and be authentic on stage was for me to be really clear about how I wanted to show up in my true self, and deliver content and information that I could walk the talk in, and I knew my stuff. So it wasn't until I was really clear that I wasn't going to get up and be a rah, jump all over the place, amazing presenter that was going to be getting everyone hand pumping up. It was going to be someone that was going to come up and share from my heart and share truth and share knowledge and work on the outcome of making a difference and changing people's lives. So it was only when I got to be really clear what I wanted to do and how I wanted to show up and who I wanted to be that I was able to really be and what has been now a career in public speaking to over 1,000 people at some events. And so resilience, everyone faces challenges. Your ability to overcome adversity and rise above setbacks and inspire others to do the same. There's been so many things that I've fallen over with, and so many times that I have faced challenges and I haven't done as well as I would have liked to. I've looked back and thought, geez, Sandra, you could have done that a lot better or a lot differently, and beaten myself up in some cases. So this is where pick yourself up, look at the situation or the mistake you've made, and spend a minute unpacking it, thinking how you could do it differently, but then make a decision to pack it back up again and look at what you're grateful for, what your learning was out of it, and thank it. Thank it for showing you the path not to take and the path to do better, and the learnings you've taken from it as well. That's where resilience comes down, and it starts helping you propel you moving forward. And it's from being grateful, and that gratitude is what drives you. And the inspiration, share your wisdom and experiences to empower others. Your journey can help others find their own path to happiness and success. So what is it that you're doing that's inspiring others? And what is it that you've done that other people would love to do? And I love to be around people that are fitter than me, healthier, smarter, more motivated, because that inspires me. So who is it that you can inspire around you that is keener to do more, to be more, and to show up more as well? Empathy role models. Understand and connect with others on an emotional levels. This builds trust and a sense of community. You understanding where people are from and I always listen from my heart. It makes such a massive difference. So if I just get out of my head and go, where are you and how can I help you? And, I get it. I might not have walked their walk, but I certainly can hear them, and I can empathize, and I can sympathize, and I can support them and inspire them as well to potentially move into another direction or down another pathway. And it's only through really listening, truly listening from that heart space, that it makes a massive difference, and people feel and see it straight away. So the power of influence, and leadership and influence are two different things, and both of them can be used for good and for evil. So this is about how you can maneuver yourself into being an influential person or influential leader, even if you're only leading yourself and you're leading maybe your family or your thinking or your team at work or even your co-workers or your friends. It's showing up at your best, and that role model. I always think, who do I want to be today? Rather than waking up as a human doing task lists that we have to do, I think I want to wake up as a human being today, not a human doing. So who am I going to be? I'm going to be a role model leader, or I'm going to be a role model mum, or I'm going to be a role model co-worker or presenter, or somebody that can help people just shift or unblock or get through something that's been holding them back from their massive potential in front. So you inspire action and create positive change. Community impact, empowering women and creating a ripple effect of positive influence. And if you can just inspire one person to change, I always look at my business model was, if I can just inspire one person to give back in what they do in their own businesses and make it a purpose-driven business, then that's a ripple effect. It's going to change lives. We support local, women's refuges, and we support local charities and not-for-profits and cancer cures. And, these are all the things that are so powerful and so special for us in our hearts. But inspiring one, I know that person that, might be receiving a parcel coming at Christmas, on one side of the door, as they grow up, they could be the person that's inspired to give it as well. And social change, shifting perceptions and creating a world where women thrive. This is for us girls, it's girl power, and it's enabling others and not putting up with that tall poppy syndrome, not allowing it to even be something that's in your world. We should be proud of our tall poppies, proud and shouting from the rooftops when someone does well, and not be afraid to do it ourselves, not think that it's a bad thing to even be able to say, hi, I had a really good day today, I had a win at work, or I'm really excited. So these are the things that we need to be self-proud about, because we've grown up quite often suppressed and not felt that we're able to, not just as women, but as anybody. It's a very Australian thing to pull down tall poppies. So I really think that it's something, and I think other countries do it as well, but certainly we should be shouting and should be proud. And if we hear someone being proud of something they've achieved that day, celebrating, we should be there being their biggest cheer squad as well. How to become a role model in your community. So connect, join groups, volunteer, and engage in activities that resonate with your passions. So this comes down to that congruency, not doing things that aren't our fit, hanging out with people that we love hanging out with, and being with people and doing things and making a difference and being in a community, maybe purpose-driven area that's exciting to us. So if we follow our heart and we follow what we're excited and passionate about, we can't but be passing that excitement and passion and motivation and inspiration on as well, and inspiring others to do the same, hanging out with great people. 1-on-1's 11, I'm a believer of, and that 1-on-1, 2 great ideas, it just extrapolates out to really build on and gets other people excited on it as well. And take initiative, share your knowledge and empower others to reach their full potential as well. I always look at how I can give people, a step up versus, a hand up. How can I help people be their best self? And I always look at a hand up versus a hand out. And there's a big difference between a hand up and a hand out. And you look at your kids as well. Both of my children went through school, and and then went on to uni. But my son wanted to, be an instructor in karate, a sensei, and went on to becoming a triple back. He's got a 3-dan black belt now in karate, and he owns his own karate dojo. But it's not through me. It's me giving him the step up was me taking him to karate every 2-3 times a week. You're hearing me, mums, aren't you? And for many years, in supporting him, I certainly bought his first gi, which was, a big investment for a 13-year-old. It was $60, and I bought it for him and helped him with any equipment he needed along the way. So, but I did not, when he reached the age to keep pushing him to do it, he had to drive it himself. So it's a step up, give him a step up and a hand up, but not a hand out. So I didn't do it for him. He had to do it himself. I didn't buy the dojo for him. He had to buy it himself. He took on the finance. He did it over a vendor finance terms with the person he bought it off. And he ended up working so hard in it so he could make it pay for itself, that it's a profitable little business. But these are the differences of going in rather than, well, I could just fix it. I can just go and buy them, this house or this car, as opposed to let people go through and find their own journey, and not, rather than giving them that handout every time, they'll never learn to do it themselves. And it's, feeding the fishes, letting people know that we can teach a fish, how to go out there and to do what it needs to do to swim and to be beautiful, but it's never going to walk on land. So this is a thing that we can do. We can admire and acknowledge people for how brilliant they are and see their genius. But if you try and teach a fish how to walk, it'll always think it's dumb. So let it swim, let it go out there, let it be its best self, and admire and inspire and motivate it to do that. And so this is the hand out and the hand up versus helping them. And this is the hand out versus the hand up. So we want to make sure that we're going through and we're supporting, we're encouraging, and we've got a guidance for other women. And this is so important. We see so many of our girls coming through our coaching programs, and many of them they're beautiful. All of them are just amazing inside. They've got strong, beautiful personalities, but they've been suppressed in many cases. They're feeling a bit crushed, and they're feeling like their mojo or some of their motivational inspiration's been taken away. So this is where it comes back, that we give them a hand up to be able to just step up back into their confidence, learning the tools and the strategies, and it's a process we take them through so that they can actually go out there and change the world. And that ripple effect, you help one mum or help one lady, and that ripple effect changes her families, and it changes generations as well, which is so powerful, so incredible to see that change through. And in many cases, we've seen so many people that have been estranged from their families, from their kids, or from even a sibling or a family member. And, just having the right tools and the right confidence and the right encouragement to go through and to put into place some simple strategies that do work to be able to rebuild those bridges of communication and respect. And it's hard, and it takes a little bit of time in some cases, but in most cases we've seen just having that support's made a massive difference. So this is where that role model is. People, if you've done things in the past that you aren't proud of, or you could have done better, and you're worried going back into maybe environments that people see how you've shown up in the past, and you've changed, but you haven't been able to communicate that. This is where it comes back to you showing up as your best self, and you being that role model, and you just showing by demonstrating and waking up every day and being that awesome self. And I remember years ago, I had this. I was in an agricultural business, and I remember I was one of 38 agencies. They were all men operated and owned. And I went to the first annual conference, and one of the guys said, what made you get into this? And I'm like, well, why wouldn't I get into this? I'm in an agricultural town, and there wasn't many opportunities. I'd left the bank, and I was selling broadacre agricultural chemical and fertilizer. And he goes, oh, you'll never succeed. And I said, why? And he said, oh, because you're a woman. No bloke's going to listen to a female coming out in their farm and telling them how to sell fertilizer and chemical. And I thought, oh, here we go. Anyway, I left, and, over the next few years, I looked at really how all the good operators and how they were doing things. And I went through and I looked at role models in the industry and the business of how I could do things better. And I took all the good things and I put into place some really good practices and strategies. And I ended up with having 3 sub-agencies in the end. And many years later, it was only a couple of years later, actually, I started becoming successful in both chemical and fertilizer. And in the about 5th year and 6th year and 7th year, I was the agent of the year for 3 years running. And the business that I was an agent for ended up buying my business out because I was doing so well. And they said, we just want you to replicate what you're doing in your business across these 38 agencies. And this guy, same guy, 7 years later, came up to me when he knew I was being bought out with good money, and I had done so well. I was turning over $6.5 million. And he said, oh, you only made it because you're a woman. And I thought, here we go. If I'd listened to him at that point, that he'd said I was never going to succeed because of, and I only succeeded because of, rather than winning your own race or running your own race and staying in your own swimming lane and just doing your best and knowing that what you're doing is for you and it's for the things that you want to do. And you can hold your head up, you can look yourself in the eye in the mirror, and you know you're doing the right things. And if you can be a role model to yourself, then, and you know that you can be proud of who you are and how you're showing up. I wrote a list of 10 things that I wanted to be in my life. And it was like integral, honest, I wanted to be generous. I wanted to be kind. And I put the 10 up just next to my computer in the office, and they were just front of mind all the time when I was dealing with people or dealing with the kids or dealing with my ex or dealing with things that my ex-mother-in-law. So all the things that I was challenged with at different times that I thought, no, that's not how I want to show up. I want to show up. How can I be kind in this situation? How can I be generous? So overcoming self-doubt and imposter syndrome. Acknowledge your worth. Recognize your unique gifts and strengths, even when you're feeling insecure. So this is really, really important. A lot of us go through and we feel very insecure when what we know, maybe we've learnt something, yet it's something that has come quite organically to us. And we feel reluctant to be able to put a cost on it. It could be that you've got an amazing gift of gardening or floral arrangements, or you've actually gone through and you've learned something, but you think, well, sure, I know this, but I just know it because I've learned it through my work, or I've learned it as my experience in such and such a job, or I've learnt it because I've loved doing it as a passion, as a hobby. And then how do you charge for it? How do you actually put it into a business and ask people to pay you for it? And in fact, in a lot of cases, many of us have had a gift or a cleverness that we've been good at, something like that we could maybe even be good giving advice, that people will ring us and ask us for advice. Mine was always financial. People would always ring me asking me how to set up their business or how we can get ahead or what's the best way we should structure our loans. And because they knew I had the experience in the bank. And it was something that I found really hard to go, well, I've just given you 3 hours or half a day or a couple of hours or a lunch break or of my time to charge my friends or charge the people asking me. So, and it was about how you recognize your unique gifts and strengths. So, and then you start feeling insecure and you think, well, that's just stuff that I know. It's not like something people will want to pay for. And it's not like somebody's going to come to me and say, well, thanks for that advice. I'll pay you what you've probably just saved me $5,000 in structuring it this way versus this way in tax. But we're not going to give you that money, and I'm not going to ask for it. So this is us not valuing how clever we are or how much knowledge we have that we've acquired and how to put a quantifiable dollar value on it or some type of value exchange on it. So focusing on progress, celebrating your achievements, no matter how small, and focusing on the journey and not just the destination, ladies. We're going to be racing up to that destination to get there and go, wow, I wish I'd actually enjoyed the journey a lot more and slowed down and had more cups of tea and gone for longer walks with my girlfriends or spent time with the grandies or the kids. So this is about you celebrating your achievements, being your own biggest cheer squad. And if you're thinking, oh, that's just impossible, there's no way I'm going to stand there and cheer squad myself. This is about you going, at least saying, hey, well done. You set a goal to get to here. We're nearly at the end of the year. So maybe you've had some goals by the December you were going to achieve. And I've done it. I've actually saved some money, or I've bought the house, I've lost some weight, or I've had a Christmas that no one's died, or, that we've got through and, everyone's talking. And so I've achieved things this year. I've asked for a pay rise, or I've got a new job, or I've changed my car, or there's got to be something in there. Maybe it's just that you survived it and you've got up every morning and you've able to, go for a walk, or you've got so what is it that you can celebrate? And there's got to be something in there. And you got to dig a bit deeper sometimes. And some days that doesn't feel like you can celebrate, but maybe it's just that you've got up and you've gone for a walk and you felt there's a new day and you can take it on. And maybe it's just small things you can take on the next hour, and you can just get up and make sure that, you can ring your daughter or you can ring your friend and you can make a difference to their lives. So embracing imperfection. Everyone makes mistakes. Accepting your imperfection allows you to grow and connect with others. This is really powerful. People, we know those know-it-alls and those done-it-alls, and they can be a bit tiring at times to hang around, or their energy can be really draining and a bit exhausting. So, it's really important to be real with your friends as well and say, I'm not going okay today. I the car broke down and this happened, but I'll be okay tomorrow. It's okay to say things that, I'm not feeling great. I'm feeling a bit lonely, or feeling a bit flat, or I felt a bit blah after I saw such and such at the school assembly, my ex maybe, with his new partner, and I felt, not as shiny as I'd like to have. So it's important to show up as your true self. And whilst we don't want to be the negative one all the time, we certainly want to be the real one all the time. And then we come back to seeking support. Don't hesitate to ask for help from trusted friends, mentors, or professionals, and you don't have to go it alone. And this is when it comes back to, we don't have to do it alone. We can get some help out there, and we can get some friends that can give us some great advice. However, our friends will tell us what they think we need to hear because they love us, and they'll encourage us sometimes to maybe do things that we probably shouldn't be doing because they just love us and don't want to upset us and keep telling us to do something. And or they might give us some advice that suits them or is something that the best that they know, but it might not be the best advice for you. And I call them the barbecue brigade. group of friends standing around the barbecue and they're like, yeah, the economy's shot and don't buy shares in that company. And, or, there's everything's negative. And it's quite can get into a bit of a pity party of things going wrong. Yeah, all men are this, or there's no good men out there. And that's not true. There's some really good positive situations, and the economy's not shot. You can buy a property, you can save money, you can get a better job. There's always a way through things. And sometimes your friends won't push you to, hey, put your head up and go and ask for a pay rise. Hey, rewrite your resume or show up in looking more professional and hold your head up. Or hey, maybe there's another way of doing things, and you could be showing up as a leader in that company and as a manager, as opposed to going in for that role that you're applying for. So sometimes our friends inadvertently can hold us back a bit because they're just going along in the same, and they're not holding you back because they're intending to, but they're holding you back because they don't know how to push you forward in a way that's in a healthy way and really set you up for success. So looking at who you're getting your advice from needs to be really discerning. And it's important to look around and seeing who it is that am I listening to somebody that's a role model to me? Am I listening to health advice from someone that I look at and go, wow, you are the healthy image of who I want to be. Oh, you are the fittest image of who I want to be. Or you are the smartest, you are the happiest, you are in a great relationship. So I'm going to listen to you for relationship advice, or for growth advice, or for education, or for self-improvement. So listen to the people that are doing it and are walking the talk. So inspiring others through your actions, authenticity, be genuine and true to yourself. You can't kid yourself no matter what. And that's what causes insanity, because we keep thinking we can do something different by thinking the same thing or repeating the same thing, and it just does not work. We have to change the way we think. We have to grow our mind. We have to grow our community. We have to grow our thinking level right through every area of our lives to truly grow. Being kind, show compassion and support. And number one, to yourself. Make sure that you're giving compassion and support to ourselves. We're the ones we look after the least. We're the ones we don't look after. So this is really important to go ahead and making sure that we're kind to ourselves, putting that oxygen mask on our own face before we put it on anyone else's. And resilience, we are going to trip up. We are going to make mistakes. We are going to not get things right. We're going to say things we shouldn't. But this is overcoming challenges with grace, picking it up, unpacking it, looking at it, packing it back up, learning from it, and going, you know what, moving forward, I'm going to do things different, and I'm going to be kind to myself, and I'm going to look at what's just happened and be grateful for it, because it's always taught me something. You look back in your lives, and all the things that have happened to you in life have taught you something, and it might have taught you to be a bit stronger, might have taught you to be a bit tougher, might have taught you to be a bit kinder, might have taught you to be a bit more patient, but they've taught you something. And inspiration, empower others with your story. People love a story, and they love to hear storytellers. And we've all got a story in us, ladies, somewhere in there, whether you're writing it down in a journal or whether you're sharing it in a group or sharing it in the community. This is so important because it inspires others when we share stories of things that we don't do right, it helps others get it that, not everyone's got it all together all the time. And this is that Instagram and that Facebook showing, the perfect, roast Christmas lunch, sitting on the table with a perfectly dressed table. Whereas the true story is it's been mayhem and chaos, and the turkey just got picked up off the floor, and, there's people through. But that's the family that I'd rather be in, the one that has got a bit of chaos and mayhem and a little bit of, laughter and fun, rather than the perfect picture. So think about, what you are putting out there and what you are listening to as well. And leaving that lasting legacy, sharing your wisdom and experiences, creating a positive impact on your community, mentoring. If you're thinking, who would listen to me? I'd listen to you. So look at who you could be inspiring with some bit of knowledge that you've got, some bit of information, some bit of experience that you've got there. And we've all got some genius in us that can be coming out and shining, and the ability for you to be able to share that and make a difference to other people's lives as well. And just having somebody giving you the confidence in yourself to be able to step up and have that, hand up versus a handout. So inspiring future generations, it's such a powerful thing to be doing, and paying it forward, because unfortunately legacies can stick with the families, and you can see generations upon generations. And in America, and it's coming into Australia as well, there's been 4 and 5 generations of families on 100% on social welfare. And this is not something that we would, where's the circuit breaker in this? And this is your chance to be that circuit breaker, and not off maybe Social Security, but it could be in believing in yourself and being somebody that starts a business or is entrepreneurial. I'm the only person in our whole family who's ever owned a business or been in business. And my parents were asked, why does she want to be in business? And they're like, oh, I don't know. They had no idea why I was wanting to go into business. Didn't seem safe. It felt like it was, a bit out of the box when I was in the National Bank, and, one of the big 4 banks. So here I was in a good job, a good stable job, and I went off on my own and wanted to do something crazy like start a business. So conclusion, you are one call away, ladies. Embracing your inner role model and make a difference in the world. Your story is waiting to be shared. Do you want to be a coach? Do you want to, be somebody that's a role model mum to your kids? Do you want to connect with your kids and rebuild those lives? Do you want to build a really positive network of friends and people that are cheerleaders, not just to yourself, but to each other as well, and to themselves? So this is something that's so powerful. It's definitely out there. Inspire yourself by surrounding yourself with positive peers that uplift you, that they give you that hand up when you need it all the time, and there to support you and keep you accountable as well. Check in, call in. You can book a call, and you can book a call talking to one of our team, Fiona or myself, and we look forward to hearing from you, and we look forward to meeting you, and we wish you a safe and prosperous year ahead, and a year full of fun things that you love doing, and inspiring things that you love doing as well, and paying it forward and making a difference. Have an amazing night.